Good evening to everyone present here. I'm Aditi Chandrasekhar, doing my first year MBA in Communication Management. Um, Welcome you all to Masterclass 4 on taking HR decisions using analytics. Analytics is often assumed to be a concept filled with jargons, tools, statistics, and numbers. Uh, Data isn't really that scary. These skills can be used to collect, structure, and analyze information, and which can lead to a better workforce environment. Our speakers today, Professor Neeraj Mankad and Professor Tejpal Singh Batra, will be using design thinking concepts to explain these to us today. Professor Neeraj Mankad is an assistant dean of programs at Flame University. He holds a PhD in strategy from IIT Bombay and conducts courses in strategic thinking, analytics, innovation, and technology management. Professor Tejpal Singh Batra is a founder of SSO Consultants and is also a visiting faculty at Flame University. He has over 30 years of global experience in transformation, program management, operations, information technology, and human resource. Thank you, sir, for being here. Thank you. Uh, Thank you, professors, for being here with us. Um, the chat box is disabled, so I request you all to put on your questions in the Q&A boxes, and you have the freedom to raise your hand. So please do that when necessary. Thank you, sir. Please take over the session.
Thank you, Aditi. A very good evening on behalf of Flame University and my partner in crime, as I like to call him, Tejpal. And like we were discussing, some of what we do, we can discuss here. Most of what we do, we will not discuss it here. But welcome to this session on taking HR decisions using analytics that both of us would be talking about. Uh, so before I begin, both Tejpal and I are okay to take questions in between. So in case at any point you wish to raise something, raise your hand and you can put it on the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to take that question there. Uh, so just to begin with, uh, we have been in the last webinar that we did, masterclass that Tejpal and I did, which was talking about building or taking data on about data sometime in the last year. We spoke mostly about how do you build a data-driven organization, and we'll just brief you a bit about what we did in the past, so that all of us are to speed on what is it that we are going to do in the next session here. Tejpal, you want to?
Yeah, hi, good evening, Aditi. Thank you very much for introducing us. And I think what I would want to say is I hope you are staying safe. I know the vaccine is out, but it hasn't reached you, so have a bit more patience till it comes to you, and then do whatever you need to. And we are looking forward to having fun time with you in next 1 hour. So let's start. Back to you, Neeraj.
Thanks. So in the session that we did on data-driven decisions making, the first thing that we talked about was this statement, which Tejpal and I certainly look at not just in our training programs, but also otherwise in the consulting and the other work that we do. That in God we trust, and all others must bring data. So it's so critical for us to look at data before we actually start our work in decision making there. Yeah. Now, having said that, what we did in the last session was we talked about what it means to be data driven, and how do you create an organization where data becomes the founding sort of bed on which your decisions are taken. Tejpal?
Yeah, and I think the our last masterclass, Neeraj, was really a masterclass. What we have today is
Yes,
a friends class. We are just going to talk
absolutely.
about, and last time we talked about strategy. We talked about this 5 points, which was how do you transform the culture, because uh, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So we need to focus on culture and single version of truth, critical thinking and all. But I think today our focus is completely different, which I think Neeraj
Yes.
will explain to you in a minute. And I think we hope you like what we have come up with in this session.
Sure. Yes, I think Tejpal summed it up pretty well. What we are trying to do in this session is, using, as Aditi rightly mentioned, we are trying to use principles of design thinking and storytelling in order to get across our point about, HR and the use of analytics in that. So what we would be doing here in this session is really trying to focus on the user or on those of them who actually use analytics and come up with the data driven decisions over there. So by going into following the first step of design thinking, going into empathy and trying to figure out what is what, Tejpal and I realized when we started doing our it's been 3 years that we started doing training and consulting in this area, and we realized that what is required is going to be coming right from the users themselves. And since Tejpal does a bit of work on design thinking, we decided to get that approach here. So what we'll talk about here are use cases, user stories. We'll take you through some experiences which various HR folks have had using analytics, and we'll try to build in what our expertise talks about it in each of these cases. Over to you, Tejpal.
Right. So I think we will be very candid, as Neeraj said. We are into it, and I can see two of our lovely friends also online, Aman and Anand. So guys, good evening. So we have been into this for a while, but then we said time to hit the street. Whatever we are doing, is it all at strategic level, or is there a difference being made at a ground level? And that's when me and Neeraj, even though it's a pandemic time, we went on the street virtually. So we are safe, don't worry. But we virtually hit the street and went and digged out lots of people whom we have either worked with in consulting, or they have been part of our workshops. And then we said, talk to us, tell us what you have been up to. Have you been able to make a difference or not? And we thought we'll bring those stories back to you and then
Right.
link it on what we're going to talk to you today. Right, Neeraj?
Right, absolutely. In fact, Tejpal, I also see Anil Dhankar here, very senior HR person here. So Anil, thank you for joining us, and please in the chat if you have any experiences you might want to share, which might give some things to the participants as well. Yeah, so let me go ahead and start with like what Tejpal has said. Let's hear from those who did it. So what we are going to do as a part of this masterclass is take you through 5 stories, journeys of 5 HR folks who used analytics. And these people, as you will hear in the videos and subsequently when we talk about them, you will find them uh, a very heterogeneous group, heterogeneous in the sense of various industries they would be working in, plus they are working in, as he said, on the ground at very those of them who are getting their hands dirty at various levels in the HR function. So we begin the first story with a small clip. Yeah, by the way, before we begin, these are all as we were talking about home production videos. So kindly excuse, we've not edited them or polished them or anything. They're just the way they are. So please excuse if you're not able to hear things very clearly, or the background and so on and so forth. So without much, I'm just going to play the first video for you, and we'll discuss about this as we move.
Hello, everyone. HR plays a key role in developing, reinforcing, and changing the culture of an organization. It is quite important for HR professionals to be able to interpret, evaluate, and make decisions which are based on a lot of data results. From my own experience, I have seen that a lot of us HR professionals are quite data shy, and we feel scared when we see a lot of data in front of us. However, the future requires us that we move away from an amateur management of data to a more professional approach. This will surely help us in improving talent management, talent engagement, and will make a visible and quantified difference to the bottom line. HR analytics not only helps us in making better decisions, but it also shows the stakeholders how these decisions have ultimately had a measurable and a demonstrable impact on the organization. Being data driven actually ensures that HR analytics is aligned to the business goals. And this also means that a lot of us HR professionals need to upgrade our skills. We must ensure that our organizations see this as an investment and not as an expense, because soon analytical capability is going to become an expectation rather than an option. Being able to interpret data and being able to drive business insights and ultimately demonstrate how this is going to be affecting the bottom line is how HR is going to be a true strategic partner to the business. If we are to stay relevant, if we are to stay and be a part of that table where decisions are being taken on basis of data, I think it is time that we all HR professionals get into HR analytics and make sure that this becomes our way of life. Thank you so much, and all the best to all of you.
Yeah.
So, Neeraj,
Yes,
I think amazing one, and I think it's linked with our last, more or less. It is just reconfirming our last masterclass stuff, saying that the 5 points coming out here pretty strong, right?
Yeah. So this, and that too coming from somebody who has been in the HR profession for a long time, heading the HR function of a large corporate enterprise, is something that one should certainly consider when she's talking about how it is helping her in making the decisions, I think.
Yeah, but Neeraj, do you have any story for us to tell the success? You promised success stories, right? It is just reconfirming our last webinar.
Yes, but I think this is where what we had decided, Tejpal, is that we really want to go out and figure out that, look, it's not, is it that what we talk in classrooms is that any different from what the ground reality is? And I think if we look at what we talked about in the first webinar masterclass, and now that we are talking about, where the expectations from HR are very clear in terms of what even the senior folks in the function think of. But yes, you are right. I think it's time to share success stories as we go ahead and see whether is this just somebody at the very senior management talking, or is it actually happening on the ground.
Yes, bro.
And to start that here, we look at the second story here, and this is where perhaps it starts becoming interesting, if I may. So I'm going to start this.
Hi Tejpalji. Thanks a lot for reaching out to me and discussing in terms of how analytics helps human resource professionals on the ground to run necessary human resource work for organizations more effectively. As we all know, it all starts with having your data in place, having as much of structured data as possible. And by the way, these days, there are so many platforms as well that help you create the right structures for the kind of data that you have. Once that is in place, then there is no limit to how much of intelligence can you churn with the right kind of analytics mindset, logic, and necessary platforms. One such example that I can give from one of my earlier organizations was we wanted to establish an artificial intelligence based system that will help managers to take right kind of decisions around salary increments. Now, what happens is a lot of organizations look at salary increments as something linked to past data, that they don't understand that anything to do with past performance should be rewarded through one-time payouts like a bonus, like a variable, like an award. Any kind of future related investment, which particularly comes through salaries, because it's a month on month incremental value, right, is something that should be linked with potential of the individual as well as the kind of position that he or she plays in the organization. So we went ahead, we analyzed data based on close to 50 plus parameters. We had our artificial intelligence system in place and a team of cognitive computer sciences that helped analyze all of this data to come up with a platform that helped the organization and the managers in particular, where let's say there is a person X, it would have automatically analyzed person X last ratings, his potential, how much of salary investments have been done, how much of various other investments have been done on that individual, the tenure of the individual, the kind of skill set that we are looking at, the kind of job family that we are looking at, 50 odd parameters. It crunches all of it together and comes up with a range as an indicator to the manager, based on which a manager can go ahead and decide as to how much of an salary investment has to be made on that individual for that particular year. We ran a couple of pilots in a couple of countries and we realized that the accuracy was 85% plus in terms of what the manager usually would have decided vis-a-vis what the system was recommending. And then we went ahead and we deployed it for the organization across close to 100 plus countries. And it is working beautifully well for last 2 years. What you understand through this example is how powerful data can be, how it can make our HR systems and practices more robust, more objective, and help us take the right subjective decisions with the right objective background and details to it. I hope that your sessions run very well. I wish you and everyone around who's going to watch this video all the very best. Believe in data, work on data. The more objective we human resource professionals can be in terms of gathering data and relying on it, the better our subjective decisions will be when it actually comes to dealing with our workforce with better empathy, with right kind of subjectivity that is needed on the ground, but equipped with enough and more data sets that will help us do our jobs better. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Yeah, Tejpal, I think this pretty much tells us a lot about what data can do for you.
Right. And I think I was just looking at it and trying to for our audience, trying to put down the design thinking step out here. Obviously, Soumya is talking about a multinational because it's across countries. But I think the first point he said, we worked with our business managers and understood their requirement and how they were doing it. So the empathy comes in big time, right? Just imagine HR trying to do it themselves without talking to the managers. It would have never flown.
True.
Right. So the empathize part comes in, and then he very clearly mentioned we work together and we looked at the parameters. So that the define comes in, the partnership of working. And I think that is the key. What I'm really loving what we are hearing from the street is, that it's not about that, you just go and buy a tool and implement. It's all about going step by step, understanding the business needs, understanding the business priority, looking at the parameter, then play around with it. When he talks about 85%, I bet it would have started from 55 and then they fine tuned. So your prototype comes in, ideate comes in. So the whole story comes in out here, right?
Yes, yes. It's the process is actually quite long. The process is painstaking for most organizations who do it, because the fact that you need to have a very clean set of data does not really happen overnight, and the journey itself is arduous as compared to any other journey that you might have at an organization. But looking at, going through what he mentioned, the journey seems to be worth that when you reach the destination that you have. uh, but Tejpal, I have one point here. Perhaps you might want to, and I'm sure many of those of who are there in the uh, attendees would also be thinking about this. Here's a gentleman who is representing a large MNC group. He talked about implementation in multiple countries. That pretty much tells us. But it's easy for somebody with large deep pockets and resources and tools and technologies available. uh, what about most of us who are on shoestring budgets and don't really have the skills and prowess to go with these other things?
I think now that's an interesting question, and I somehow could empathize that you will ask me that question. So I was thinking 30 seconds before, so anticipating my this question coming my way. So my take out here would be, and I think Neeraj, I'll take you back in September when we actually did our certification course. We did build up a model on compensation on the same work, working in advanced Excel,
Right.
and we could come to the 82% accuracy out there, if you remember. So
Right.
the key part is the mindset. You are working on multiple countries, you have a deep pocket, you might use a top end tool. Obviously, yes, the accuracy and the product that would be higher, but it never stops anybody to start small with the Excel or with their own in-house Python based programming, because artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence. 5 lakh rupee tool or a 50,000 rupee tool, the spelling of artificial intelligence remain the same and the functionality of artificial intelligence remain the same. And as you see benefit, you can move up the value chain. So I don't think, and I hope I answer your question, I think anybody can do it. And I believe you have some other surprise for us where maybe a smaller company might be doing something similar.
Yes, so I was anticipating your answer, and therefore
I
we have another example, another a very very interesting uh, sort of sharing of experience by uh, another lady whom she works in. So she is in the automotive uh, sector, rather in the manufacturing sector, not automotive, and she has a different story to share. And let's very quickly listen to her part.
Hello everyone, I am Reena Srivastava. I have done my BE and then my MBA in HR. I have total 8 years of experience in the gamut of HR and I am currently associated with Gabriel India Limited with their head office. During lockdown, I have decided that now it is time to upgrade myself, and that was the best decision that I have made. Fortunately, during that time, I came across this particular program which is especially designed for HRBPs. We as HR fraternity deal a lot with data. One thing that we need to understand that data is power. With data, we can take so many informed decisions, but only when we know how to use it properly. This particular program has helped me a lot in doing so. For example, previously when I used to do the attrition analysis, I used to take the data of all those who have gone and then used to analyze and make a action plan when the damage is already done. But now I can actually do the predictive analysis. I can look into the eyes of my business head and I can tell him, look, these are the people, those who are high potential, those who are doing really good, but they have flight risk. We need to do something about it right now or else they'll go. This is the difference that it had made in my life. That with the confidence of 95%. And data is saying it. No one can deny that. With the help of the analysis, I can actually plan my manpower in a better way. I can tell my management, look, these are the areas wherein we're really lagging. We need to do the improvement there. As organization, we always put a lot of money in doing engagement survey if we are going it outside. Now I can do it myself. I can do the sentiment analysis and I can actually tell my management about the pulse of the organization, where it is towards positive side or negative side. That too with a scientific way, without putting a lot of money. So these are just few of the examples that this program has done with me. There are many more. And I'm really happy that I had made that decision and I had undergone this particular program, and I wish you all the best that it will do so the same for you. Ultimately, it is all on us that how well we are utilizing this opportunity and how well we are practicing, because analytics is a skill that we really need to practice. So all the very best.
Yeah. So here's, I think what all of you who heard this lady must try and must have realized that she is not part of the leadership team. She is in one of the middle management budding roles here, and if this is what has actually she has looked at. Tejpal, she mentioned something about sentiment analysis. What was it, and what do you think she got out of it?
I think more than that, if I may, Neeraj, I think I like the way she said she can sit with the managers and say that these employees have a flight risk,
Yes.
which means she is looking at doing future planning. She's doing predictive analytics, and she's able to tell the manager what might happen, which means that she's thinking about the organization using data. And I think that is so nice to hear from HR friends coming through, right? Because we are used to hearing this from finance and operations. You and me come from that
Yeah.
area also, so we know. But that was amazing. And sentiment analysis is all about text. So she has gone a step ahead and taken the inputs
True.
from people in text format and did analytics on that to figure out what are they feeling. And especially in this time of pandemic, just imagine the power of that by looking at the words you can figure out, are they
Yeah.
feeling positive or negative. Lovely, right?
Yes. I think that's where the power of analytics actually comes into the HR profession, because you are uh, uh, trying to use your heart, because traditionally that's what the HR tries to do: be close to the employees and try to look at ways and means of improving the workforce and the environment around there. But this is what the mind will tell you what to do, and your heart can then take over from that once you get up in place. So I think we let me look at
Hello
the
everyone.
next
Neeraj,
short
Neeraj,
video. Yeah.
Neeraj, can I
Sure, sure, sure.
Pushpa
Right.
has raised her hand. Should we just stop for a minute?
Yes. In fact, Aditi, would you be able to unmute Pushpa and ask her to allow her to speak? Perhaps it will be
Yes, sir.
nice to
Yes,
interact
sir.
with her.
I have unmuted you. Please uh, unmute yourself. I think you need to unmute yourself. I have allowed you to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Aditi.
Hi, Pushpa. Please
Hi,
go ahead.
hi, Professor Neeraj. I have a question at this moment asking you HR analytics. So, uh, this is something which comes to my mind. Apart from projective analytics and predictive analytics, I just want to know like what other tools we can use in the field of HR processes and systems. Like whenever we talk from like I always have this mind in my mind. Is it we are constrained to only predictive, projective, or some other things that we can have apart from these two?
Right. Thank you, Pushpa, for getting that question here. Although towards the end we have an answer to that, but Tejpal, would you want to uh, say it right now that she's asked the question? So
Yeah, I think we can. Good evening, Pushpa, and if you are okay, I will answer that.
Uh,
absolutely.
thank you, sir. Thank you. I would be.
Yeah. So again, see, we while we talk about predictive and prescriptive analytics, we should not only be constrained there. Anything which will help you take a better decision, no matter how simple, just by making some effective graphs, but by using proper data and the mindset, do it, right? And once you start doing it, once you get the taste of it, you will realize that you might initially are only doing something which is on the past data, but then very soon you will start realizing that maybe you can figure out what might happen in the future. You might make prediction, and the fun starts there, because like Reena said, that if you could sit with the manager and say that these 5 people might leave in 3 months, and imagine, Pushpa, if 3 of them leave, would the manager not next time want to have a nice cup of coffee with you and say, what are you thinking? How, what do I do? How
Yes.
can we work together?
True. True, sir.
So I think that's the key, that, we
Yeah.
always look at hindsight. The beauty of analytics is once you start working on hindsight, you can move into insights.
Yeah.
And once you have an insight, you can develop a foresight. And HR is all about foresight, right?
True, sir. Thank you.
So that's the point. I hope I answer your question.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Pushpa. So I think we can go ahead, Tejpal. I'll just play this. Guys, you'll have to be a little more attentive listening to this lady because her volume is pretty low, but I think it's worth the effort.
Good evening. Myself, Dr. Gitanjali Dey, working as an HR professional in one of the leading educational institutions, would like to share my experience about HR analytics and how I have been benefited while undergoing this workshop. Before the workshop, the data, the information that I had was purely a specific data to me. But when I started understanding what is data important, how data should be, and how powerful is data in taking decisions, it has been a wonderful journey to explore it more and more. With this workshop learning, I've started using the analytics in my recruitment process and to understand the attrition rate of my organization. In recruitment, the data coming of the candidates applying for the jobs is understood on the basis of what is their genders, what is the age configuration I'm receiving, and what is the salary package that is being in the industry, which has given me wonderful understanding about how to recruit and what type of employees to be recruited. In attrition, I have tried to work out what is the outflow of my organization, how number of people leaving the organization, what is the turnover rate, and how why they are leaving the organization. The very next step that I'll be taking forward in this journey would be using analytics techniques to analyze the performance of my employees, to understand the productivity level, and based on this, the increments or the increase in salary would be the decisive function that we would be taking now. It has been really a good hand-on experience with this workshop, and I wish all of you all the best to explore more and more the power of HR analytics. Thank you.
So here, if I may, uh, the lady here is actually from the education sector, and what we have been seeing in the last when you put all these 4 videos together is that uh, all of these HR folks belong to different sectors of the the economy. You have uh, IT and IT. Yes, you have somebody from manufacturing. Here's somebody from education, the service industry. So it's irrespective of really the industry that you are at, and plus we are also looking at the different levels there. So I think when we look at analytics, and especially HR analytics, we should not really look at is this applicable only in that industry and it may not work for me in my own industry, because over and over again we have experienced great cases, great learnings from HR folks in various industries who've actually done phenomenal job when they looked at using data to take decisions. For example, she talks here about attrition rate, and I think Tejpal will explain what she did more in detail. But uh, this is one beautiful example of how you can use predictive analysis to actually figure out, who are the guys who are going to quit, and in by what surety can you say who is going to quit or not. Right, Tejpal?
Yes, and I think just building on to what I had replied back to Pushpa. So if you see the difference between what she spoke and what Reena spoke, here Gitanjali is speaking more about getting the base data in place, and she's saying how many people are leaving, looking at my attrition rate. So she's building the blocks.
Right.
Whereas Reena has already started
With that.
taking advantage of the building blocks and going and saying who might leave.
Right.
So if,
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but so in a way, what we are saying is that there is a ladder or a hierarchy of analytics based on the kind of expertise and the experience that you keep on having. Am I right?
Exactly, and I think that's what we are when we really went for this virtual street walk, Neeraj. I
Yeah.
think what was really amazing was everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own success story. None of them are in the CXO level, but they are willing because they have seen the advantage of analytics, and they are trying to make the difference in their own way,
Yes.
and they believe that organization will recognize it and take it forward.
Yes. I think that's the key. How do you make an impact to the organization as a whole by using this analytics here?
Yeah, and
So
Neeraj, can I add two more points, please?
absolutely.
One, I think all the four videos talk about business. They're talking about business. They're talking about
Yes.
customer, and I think that's what I will try to tell all of you. Go identify the problem statement first and see how will that help your organization or your institute. And once you start working onto it, you will see people supporting you. So pick up something which will be of advantages or which will help the organization, and you will find people working with you, supporting you, and make it happen for you.
Right. That's true. Right. Uh, so I think in the interest of time, we'll just move on to the last sort of example that we have, the street talk that we will be talking about. All of this that you saw, the four testimonies about how they used analytics in their organizations. Uh, it's also very, very important that, look, you have at some point of time done a fantastic job of using analytical tools and techniques to bring about certain solutions to a problem, or the solutions you think will be helping you overcome that problem. But it's also extremely critical, and that's been our belief, that you must be able to communicate what you are saying very, very effectively to your senior management and to all of them, because as HR, uh, our decisions need to be taken with consensus from a lot of people here. So I'm trying to put this point across before we actually start listening to the video, and we'll just see what he has to say in here.
This course of HR analytics has helped me a lot, and I have started looking at things in more scientific way. Let me give you some small examples wherein I have started actual implementation of this tool. When I want to see the trends, when I want to see the trend of attrition, or when I want to see the trend of employee engagement survey, or even when I want to see the data of near miss, when we talk about the accident, you must have heard about the Henry Strand triangle. So I have started using the scientific tool as ANOVA, and believe me, it gives the perfect data, and the analysis is very accurate, and it helps you to take appropriate decisions timely. Second thing, in the selection also, I have started when we offer the candidate the CTC and remuneration part. I have started looking at the range. I have started looking at the median, and I can do the justice to the candidate, and I can also justify to the management okay, what salary I have offered and what is the range of my employees in that particular band. Third thing which I would like to tell that in management meetings and in data presentation plays a very vital role because it's needed for the appropriate decisions. So how you present data, many times it is seen that a lot of time is wasted on the interpretation of the data presented. But if you present data in a very scientific way, if you present data in a very self-explanatory charts, graphs, believe me, it helps you a lot in making a proper decision making. So I've started the teaching of dashboards has been a great learning, and I am using dashboards extensively in all my data presentations because graph speaks louder than the words, and we do not have to explain those. So data presentation dashboards has helping me a lot in my HR career. So sincere thanks to Tejpal sir and Neeraj sir for your valuable and precious teaching. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So I think the last part of his video may sound like a small canvas for us, but what we are trying to, these are folks whom have been brilliant with us when we did our programs, and since then we've been with them and trying to understand how they have been actually on the job using this. And if you look at what he has said, very few critical and important things about after doing the analytics. What say, Tejpal?
Absolutely. And I think because I'm a foodie, you make a lovely food, but if you don't serve it properly with the proper garnish with that dhania on top, then maja nahi aata hai, right? So I
Right,
think what he's talking about visualization, right, Neeraj?
right. At it's very important how you do the analysis, and it's even more important perhaps how you are presenting it. I think that's what really comes out. So there are lots and lots of ways of using tools and techniques of visualization. One can actually go ahead. You could use very minimalistic tools, or easy simple tools there as well. But the point of the matter here is it really helps you to put your point across to those who will be helping you in taking the decision.
Yeah, Neeraj, just to add one liner out here, just doing brilliant, jazzy, glamorous chart is not what he's talking about. He's talking
Yeah,
about it's beautiful when it's right.
right.
So
Yeah,
analytics makes your data right, and then doing proper visualization ensures that the message goes across and you can get your buy-in much more quicker.
absolutely.
So I think
Right.
that's the key for me.
So, Tejpal, how do you sum it up, for all our participants here who are listening to us?
See, Neeraj, I'm traveling. Knowing you, you would have written down few lines on that.
All
So
right, I did.
yes,
So just giving you a sum up on what we realized from our interactions with all of them, and over 100 odd executives in HR, we've helped them and used them. This is all that we could figure out. It's all about the mindset. You may not be a very expert at statistics, or you may not be a great mathematician. You don't need to be that, right? All you need to have is an analytical mindset. The rest of it will start falling in place. So
yeah, and I think the only thing I would say, the last line is what I strongly believe in. Start working, make your journey on data, and then a trail appears, and you might see a trail in front of you left by others, or you might leave a trail which other might follow. But one thing which is our learning, Neeraj, is that no longer you need to be at a CXO level, a senior management level, to start the journey of analytics. Anybody in the organization in their own function, we heard it from Somya, we heard it from Reena, we heard it from Gitanjali, we heard it from Raj.
yeah,
Everybody just reconfirms that anybody can start this particular stuff.
Yes.
and can make a difference, and they can do their job better, move up the value chain, and their organization eventually ends up helping them.
Yes. And I think that impact that you will make will also help you, become a much better HR professional than what you were. So I think it's with that note that, Tejpal and I do. This is what you have seen is a result of some of the work which we have done with the others, and we like to thank them for all of that. We do programs, Flame and with NHRDN on analytics. So that's where we get our inspiration of doing more and more, because that's where we get such lovely stories that you guys have heard in the last few minutes or so. So yeah, I think we are now done with what we had to say. We still have 15 odd minutes. We are open to questions. Aditi, over to you.
Yes, sir. Anybody with questions, please raise your hand. I will allow you to talk so that you could ask your questions in case you have any.
Sir, I think we have a question from Mr. Anil Dhankar. So you want to unmute Mr. Anil? He has a set of questions.
Okay, I think Tejpal, have you read what Anirudh? So Anil is not here. He's mentioned that he would have to leave at 6:30.
6:30, yes.
Yeah. So for the benefit of the viewers, what Anil says is that according, in his experience, and he's, as I mentioned, he's very senior professional. The biggest challenge is not only the mindset, but it's a set mind. So to put the the other way around, Tejpal, he says that because the minds of the HR professional and business leaders just believe that HR is not just soft stuff. And I'm reading his question. Moreover, even the soft and the intangibles can and should be measured. And so he's made a recommendation. I think he's mentioning how to measure anything, finding the value of intangible in business. I think Douglas Hubbard's book it's an excellent read for all of you there. So
Yeah, but I
thank
think I
you,
was
Anil,
also, and I
for
think,
those 2 bits. Very, very interesting and important.
yeah, Neeraj, and I think that's where
Aditi,
what,
anything else you think?
So Tejpal Singh sir had something to say.
yeah, I was just trying to add up to what Neeraj said. That was that, I think Reena's video actually addressed that, that she thinking about sentiment analysis and actually looking at what people have to say in words, which earlier was thought to be intangible, right? Is something which she's trying to quantify. So I think what Anil sir said is echoed by in her video.
On that note, thank you, professors, for giving us such an amazing session. It was informative indeed. Our next masterclass is on 5th of February and is about storytelling initiatives to reconstruct brands and get consumers to fall in love with it. As a communication student, I'm really excited to attend this session, and I hope you all are too. Please join us on that day. Thank you all, and have a great evening.
Thank you, all of you, for the good Q&A and the interaction. Thank you, Aditi and Vakya at the back end for helping us through this.
Thank you so very much, guys. Stay safe and good night.
Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe.